while, but I'm back. I just got really unmotivated, and the usual discouragement of like, no one's watching, it's not growing, I'm just gonna stop. But being on maternity leave just made me kind of realize how much I like filming. So I'm gonna focus more on just like filming things I like and putting it out there, and things that are fun or that I think would be cool for people to watch. Versus focusing on like the whole like schedule piece of it and just being like, oh, this video is kind of like but it's Tuesday, gotta put something out. So that was really fast talking. But yeah, so that's the story. I'm back. And so today I have my baby number 2 birth story for you. So I would suggest watching Carter's first, so that you kind of understand the things I'm talking about when I'm like comparing or whatever. But if you have watched Carter's story, you know that I went into labor with Carter. I was 41 weeks. I did the laboring, I got the epidural, I did the pushing, but it just like was not progressing. So that ended up in an emergency C-section. I had the C-section and all that. I mean, that story, you'll hear all that. So my surgery was scheduled for 8, but we had to be there at 6 because they had to like put my IV in, draw my blood, like prep me for surgery, all that good stuff. So we woke up at like 5. I had to get Carter ready. I had to get make sure we had everything we needed. We took Carter to her grandparents' house, and then we went to the hospital. Yeah, so I got my IV. She tried to put it in this hand and she failed, but then she called somebody else. They got in this hand and it was fine. I hate needles. I hate IVs, and hand IVs are the worst. If you've had it, you know. So that happened. Yeah, I did the whole pee in a cup. Blood was drawn, all that stuff. And then I waited for surgery. My freaking doctor was like half an hour late. Like, they were just like, we're just waiting for the doctor. And I was like, so I was like so anxious and so nervous, and Cameron was being a jerk. He was just like on his phone, like all nonchalant. And I'm like, dude, talk to me. Like, I'm so nervous, da-da-da. And he's like, I don't get why. Like, we've done this before. I don't get it. I don't get it. He just kind of kept looking at his phone. Now I know why. But, so I was kind of just like, like, you're being such a butt. And so right around the time when it was almost time to, like, go into surgery, he kind of put his phone away and was like, oh, like, so, like, but why are you nervous? And da-da-da. And he started trying to talk to me, and I was like, whatever. So then they're like, okay, she's here, we're ready, whatever. And so typically the way it goes, they wheel you in first, they prep you, they literally get you like ready to go. She's gonna start cutting, and then they bring your partner in. And basically, Cameron just sat in a chair like right here behind me. I was like, nah, And as soon as he comes in, he was just like, oh my God, like I'm so nervous. I'm just thinking, and like right before we came in, he's like, I just get nervous about the what ifs, like. And so he comes in and he's just like super nervous and just like, oh my God, I don't even want to hear it, I don't even want to look, da-da-da. Which is funny because if you listen to my last story, he was like the rock of my surgery with Carter. I was terrified. I was freaking out. They said you're going to feel pressure, and that in my head meant pain. So as soon as they started cutting and moving stuff, and I was like, I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it. I'm pretty sure he put my epidural up to like, I don't know how epidurals work, but I'm pretty sure he gave me way too much, because I don't think that I actually felt it. I think the pressure and then my anxiety, I was just like, I feel it. But yeah, so Cameron was like the rock in that situation. But this time around, it was kind of cool that like I kind of got to be the calm one. Like, as I literally was just like laying there chilling, I was like, this is nice. Like, which I think with Carter, it had a lot to do with the fact that I was laboring before and I was pushing and I was tired, and so, but yeah, so he was just like super nervous, but it was cool to be the calm one, because I'm usually the nervous and anxious and scared one, So surgery went well. Kai came out 9 pounds 1 ounce, 21 inches long. Super adorable. She looked just like Carter when Carter was born, like the moment they pop out. She looked just like her, which was crazy. And then Cameron was just, oh my God, it was just, that's probably like what I'll remember forever. It's just like as soon as she came out and they kind of like brought her over to show her, and he was just like, oh my God, like, and he got up, took his phone, started taking pictures of her. He was just like ear to ear, like just, it was fun. Yeah, so then they bring you into recovery. So like you have your room where you're gonna stay for the few days or whatever. But then there's like your recovery room, which is kind of just like a space, like curtained off space. And so you're there for 2 hours. That's, I guess, where they make sure there's no post-op complications and everything's good. And so I, at that point, was so tired. I think, you know, it was probably like just auto medication and the fact that I only slept an hour the night before. But I was exhausted. Like, Cameron held the baby for pretty much most of that day. I might have held it for a total of 20 to 25 minutes, like a total, like squished together. Because the first time they gave me to hold her, you know, I held it for a bit and then I was like, I'm just so sleepy. And so they gave her to Cameron and I slept for a little bit. And then, like, right around when we were getting ready to go to our room, they were like, oh, do you want to hold her? Like, do you want to hold her? We'll wheel you out. Or do you want her in the little, you know, like the baby plastic thing they put them in? So I was like, oh, I'll hold her. And as soon as I held her, I had to throw up. And so, like, they passed her to Cameron and I was just, like, throwing up. I don't know. It was interesting. But, yeah, so then we went back to our room and I was tired. I literally just slept, like, everyone that was calling, texting, I didn't call back or text until like later in the day. The only person I responded to was my mom because I know she would have been freaking out, like, where is she? She okay? Even though she could have texted Cam, but I was just, you know, kind of like, that was who I was communicating with. I didn't post pictures, anything. Like, I was just beat. I don't know. It was just, whew. But anywho, I texted everyone. And then thank God, like 24 hours, they were able to take my IV, take out the catheter. I was able to pee, so everything was good for now. First day was mostly just sleeping and eating Jello and ice. Second day, like I said, they took everything out. I was fine. They put the binder on me. They had me sit in the chair for a little bit. I did a little bit more walking than the last time. I was a little less tired that day, still kind of out of it. But then, did I say Thursday? I meant Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday night, I kind of got like a bit of a migraine and they gave me medicine and, I laid down. I don't think I noticed how like severe it was because it was nighttime. And so like, you know, I just took the ibuprofen and the Percocet or whatever. I went to sleep. But then Wednesday, it was just like constant, just like, a migraine. If you get migraines, you know what it is. For those of you who don't, it's just like a ton of insane. It's like it's like a headache times 1,000, and it's just like all this pressure right here in the front of your head. And the only way like I wouldn't have that migraine was if I was laying down, like laying flat. And so I was trying to sit up and hold Kai, and it was, oh my God, it was just such a struggle, and like it just wouldn't go away. And so I kind of just kept telling them throughout the day, it's still there, it's still there. So they were like saying they didn't think it was a spinal because those headaches are really bad, and which mine was bad, so I can imagine, like. But yeah, so eventually I was just like, it's still there. Like, and they were like, okay, we can get the anesthesiologist to come talk to you. That's who puts in the spinal, in case anyone didn't know. And so he came in, he's like, hey, how are you doing? They told me about the headache. And so he explained, like, sometimes these little pockets get created in your back by like epidurals or spinals. But what he was saying is the headaches are much more common and much more likely when you get an epidural, because the catheter stays in you and whatever. So he was like, it's rare in spinals, but with spinals, he was saying you can get like a migraine headache type of thing. And so it won't come until like 24 to 48 hours after the surgery. And then it stays till about day 3 or 4, he said. So he was like, it could be that. He's like, I would just lay down, lots of caffeine, and rest. And he was like, we can. And so then my mom was telling me about this thing, which he also mentioned, which was, it's called an epidural patch. A blood patch. Basically, they give you an epidural again. They take blood from somewhere else. I forget where he said they take it from in your body, but they take some blood and they put it through with that catheter, and it's supposed to basically patch up that hole that the epidural created, or that pocket or that bubble, whatever you want to refer to it as. And it covers up that hole. It's risky because since it's another epidural, it could create another hole or it could make things worse. So, yeah, so basically I was like, I'm holding out 3 to 4 days. My mom was like, you should just get it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm holding out 3 to 4 days. Mine did not last 3 to 4 days. It lasted like a week and a half, which was fun. But anywho, no, it wasn't a week and a half. It was like 8 days, which is still freaking awful, y'all. And so, but yeah, so besides the migraine, I was recovering from my incision. It's crazy because this time around, like, like just being able to move was so much faster. I remember with Carter, I had unbearable pain, like when I slept and then woke up to stand up and all that, like for two weeks, probably like 2 to 3 weeks. With Kai's C-section, by like day 3, I wasn't like really feeling the pain anymore. Up until probably like day 5, the pain that I was feeling is when I would like wake up in the morning and to stand up, like you could feel the pressure, because it's kind of like when you get a cut like in a joint, like your knee, your elbow, something like that. And, you know, when you start to stretch out the cut, it starts to hurt because like you're moving it. And so essentially, I think that's what happens with the incision, is like if you fall asleep flat and then you're bending, or if you're sleeping sitting up and then you're standing up, like, you know, you're kind of messing with the incision. That was only till like day 5 though, literally like 2 days of it, and then I was fine. So this recovery was super dope because like it was so like quick. Other than the migraines, the toughest part was just I had the migraine, I had the incision pain, and then I had giant boobs filled with milk that were hard as rocks. It hurt. Oh, it was freaking torture. Those 3 days, it was like a 2 to 3 day span of having all 3 at the same time. Oh my god, y'all, I was going nuts. But yeah, so then that all went away, of course, and then it was kind of just recovering from the incision. By the end of the first week, I was walking around fine. The only times was if I did too much, which I did pretty much all the time. But you know, you take some ibuprofen, it calms the area down because the area gets irritated. But yeah, within a week, I was like fine. And it was just, like I said, the incision getting a little bit irritated if I did too much movement and things like that. So I would just slow down and sit if it did hurt. That is my birth story. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. So I was about to wash the dishes and then my mom called. And after my mom called, they both woke up at the same time. Say hi. Carter, say hi. And little Kai drinking her milk. Like the video, comment down below anything you want, any questions you have about things I said, any mommies out there, mommies to be out there, anything you want to know or ask or say down there, say it. Subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.